All right, not to freak you out or anything, but death is coming. Whether you're ready or not, whether you want it to or not, it's coming. You don't know how, you don't know where, and you don't know when, but it's coming. There's a story that I heard a few years back about a warrior who is being celebrated because he was victorious in battle. And they're having like a parade, right? And as he's walking or marching through the streets of this empire, people are cheering him on and they're showering him with flowers and all kinds of stuff. And he has someone who he has appointed himself whispering in his ear, Memento Mori, which translates to remember death, or remember that you must die. And the reason he did that is because he wanted to make sure that he wasn't giving into praise, that his ego wouldn't be boosted and he would think to himself, yes, I am the greatest, I am the best, right? Because death will take all of that from him. And that was the first time I ever heard about Memento Mori, and I thought that it was such a great philosophy, so much so that I tattooed it on my wrist to remind myself, hey, one day all of this is going to be over. Last night, Erica and I were watching the first episode of The Bear, season 3. Awesome episode. And it was about 11:15 at night when I realized I was about 970 something steps away from reaching my goal for the day. And while she went to get ready for bed, I started walking figure eights in the living room and kitchen, and I got it. I got in those extra steps. I was like, nope, today's not gonna be a failure. But back to this fear of death. I need to get my steps in, so walk with me. In a previous video, I talked about how when we're born, our mind is a blank slate. We don't know anything. We don't know anything about concepts. We don't know anything about ideas, beliefs. We don't even know the terms like parents, or even the term of me, right? Or I. We don't know this concept. As we get older, eventually we start learning that there's an I, there's a mom, there's a dad, there's an aunt, an uncle, a grandma, a grandpa. There's concepts for like food and dinner time and bedtime. And then as we're told like stories, we have concepts of stories, of morals to stories and things like that, right? And little by little, our mind starts to accumulate these ideas, these beliefs, these concepts. And it starts accumulating things like preferences, things I like, things I don't like, things I want, things I don't want. And then we start assigning value to things that are important to me and things that are not important to me. And that varies from person to person, right? The things that I value, you may not. Things that I want in my life, you may not want. And that's how different we are. Well, there are cultures where they do not fear death. They welcome death. In fact, like the Japanese culture, back in the samurai days, not only were they okay with death, but they wanted to make sure that their death was at the very least honorable. They wanted to have a beautiful death. That may seem rare to people like in the West, who we want to push it as far as we can. And we do that for many reasons. And here's why I think we push it off as far as we can. In one simple word, attachment. We're attached to this thing, right? The experiences, the things that we live, the people we know, the things that we like doing, the experiences that we like repeating over and over and over again, our habits, our addictions even. Some of us have it really good in different areas, and so we want to make sure that we live as long as we can and enjoy those things as much as we can. And when we think of the end of all of that, that is where fear is born. That is the birth of fear. And logically, you might arrive at this conclusion. Well, then if all of this is coming to an end and none of it really matters in the end, God giveth and God taketh away, then what is the point to doing anything? I want to just get up, play video games, or get up, watch a movie, and do nothing with my life, because what's the point? Well, if you do that, you will for sure experience the ultimate death. If you take that path, you do nothing for no one else. You don't serve a purpose. And like my grandfather used to say, el que no vive para servir, no sirve para vivir. And ain't that the truth? We are here to serve one another, to help one another. And it's in doing so that we are remembered. If you do nothing for no one, you will not be remembered. And we know what happens if no one remembers you. We've seen Coco, the movie, right? I'm just kidding. So look, this is why it's important to live. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Do everything you can to leave the world better than you found it when you got here. That you do what is right is all that matters. So find out what that means.